So great to have you here in Vienna at Synchron Stage. We are celebrating 10 years of Synchron Stage and 25 years of ESL. Of course, we know you are recording here today and the next days, but you're also an avid user of our libraries. The library is coming exactly from the scoring stage where you are now recording. What does this mean and how are the benefits for you in this combination?
There's more entertainment than there ever has been in the history of entertainment. There's more music needs than there ever has been, and we just have to find ways of, we never want to lose this, you know, and I don't think we ever will lose this because there's just stuff that you can do here with players that you just can't do with that other side of it. But to have the other side of it is just as important. It's no longer just a mock-up that we take and throw out. It really has become part of the production. It's just a really special place to be able to have the best of both worlds kind of working together in order to kind of conquer some of these hurdles that we have these days in all these different genres.
My theory is that when the libraries have become better and better, that the live recordings have become more and more because more composers are interested in these orchestral sounds now, because mockups were sounding more convenient now, and therefore, yeah, it pushes then the live recordings also. The same what happened with the drum computers in the 80s.
Oh, it really has been amazing throughout the years to kind of see how Vienna has just taken the technology one step at a time, just to the point to where we are now, which has been amazing. And it must be extremely exciting for you, you know, from the very beginning stages of it.
When we acquired Synchron Stage, I thought it might be a good idea now to have this option that the sound of the samples could match with a recording afterwards. It's so great now that my concepts at that time now are becoming true now, because now I'm sitting here with a famous composer who is using the tools exactly I tried to imagine years ago. No?
You know, with the duality series, especially, what you can actually write with aleatoric articulations and effects and techniques is amazing, the amount of control that you have over it. I mean, I wouldn't be able to write a lot of the music that we have written for this project without that product.
When did you do your first orchestral mock-up? Do you remember which year?
Probably, I would probably say like late 90s.
Late 90s.
Late 90s, 90, 98, 99. And I remember I had one K2500. And I remember thinking to myself, how am I going to be able to afford to have 20 of these machines? I mean, you remember how expensive they were. I mean, $3,000 for a sampler that had 16 megs of RAM in it.
In the beginning, you have this limitation of the OS system with 32-bit or something like that, and therefore you couldn't load more than 4,000 samples in one computer. No? You have to have multiple computer systems, and therefore we decided at the time to give the option to distribute the samples to multiple computers, no? with VE Pro.
Vienna Ensemble, which we used to use obviously in tandem with our main rigs. You know, we'd have our DAW and then we'd have rigs that had the Vienna Ensemble Pro in it. But what's even better for me now is now that we can have computers that you can load up to 2 terabytes to 5 terabytes in RAM, and if you're in a workstation, still to be able to have Vienna Ensemble running within the computer, it's like you get the best of both worlds.
When we started recording our very first samples, it was clear that no computer system would be able to handle them. No? And that's just said, okay, we need at least 2 years, maybe 3 years before we go out with our products. And hopefully in these 2-3 years, the computer technology will develop and can handle our samples. And it was very close.
When you make a product, I always wondered, are you always thinking of it working homogeneously with the other products in the line? Because it seems like there's a philosophy behind that here that kind of is really prevalent with duality and all the Synchron, and they all just add power to each other, I should say.
Yeah, of course, we have 2 main branches now. This is the studio line where everything is recorded dry. Where you have, of course, a complete different sound compared to a scoring soundstage.
I've really been having a lot of fun using the flow function. I always say learning a sample library is like learning an instrument. The cool thing about flow was it does give you the ability now to kind of use the library if you really want to get deep into it, you can get into more of the advanced mode. If you want to put it in and utilize it like a library that's a little bit more laid out, it's really nice to be able to kind of hit that flow button. I don't use one or the other. I mean, I'm constantly going back and using, because they both offer a different thing. Great composers is with modern music doing just incredible things with the orchestra, and it's fun to be able to also now have that ability in the mock-up world as well, without having to fill a room with 35 trombone players. So it is fun, and it's also great for filmmakers because now they're able to get a sound that maybe they normally wouldn't be able to afford if they didn't have the budget to have some of these ideas that they have in their head, and as a composer, it's very powerful to be able to give that to them. And that's a big part of my job, is making sure that whoever I'm working with, I'm able to give them what they want, that they think that their film or project needs. And sometimes it's very unrealistic from a budget standpoint to be able to give them that. But with the help of the libraries and then being able to come in here with the players and use both them, it's amazing what you can get with all the tools at your fingertips.